I want to tell you my personal story today. I have a degree in molecular and cell biology from UC Berkeley. After having my kids, I lost 40 pounds in 9 months and kept it off for over 12 years. The same foods, the same approach, the same framework I now teach my clients. It worked. For over a decade, it worked. And then menopause hit. And slowly, very slowly at first, my belly started growing. Despite doing everything I had always done, I had good sleep, I had low stress, I was eating healthy, I was exercising, and I was doing everything right, or so I thought. But the belly kept coming, and that's what was the most frustrating, because I thought I was doing everything right. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me and what it took to finally understand it. Because if your belly has been expanding in ways that made no sense to you either, this is the video that explains why. Let me start with the backstory. After having my kids, I gained weight. I was busy working long hours, and then I decided to figure it out, not through restriction, but through understanding the science of how my body actually worked. I developed the food combining approach, the metabolism boosting framework, and the fat burning food framework, the additive philosophy that I now teach. I lost 40 pounds in 9 months, and I kept it off for over 14 years. For 14 years, my body responded. I knew exactly what to do. Good sleep, low stress, healthy food, regular exercise, not too much. Mainly it was the food that was keeping me there. I was living proof that the approach was real. And then I hit menopause and the belly started creeping, a pound here, a couple more there. So gradual at first that I actually kept dismissing it. I kept thinking, maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I need to track my food more carefully. Maybe I need more protein. Maybe I need more steps. I want you to hear this. I was blaming myself. I was adding more effort, and I was adding it to something that had nothing to do with effort. But here's what's unusual about my situation. I was actually really aware of my health when all these things were happening. I was doing all the things that people were telling me to do. I had 8 hours of sleep. I had low stress. I was eating the same foods that had kept me lean for over a decade. So I couldn't blame my lifestyle because I knew that I was doing things correctly because it had been working for so long. I knew something else had to be happening because otherwise everything was constant. So I knew something was going on. I just didn't understand what. And then things got significantly worse. I started taking hormone replacement therapy and because my levels were very low and the practitioner dosed me too high. Now, when you have too much of a hormone, your body can convert it into different hormones. So for me, I ended up with estrogen dominance and my weight shot up quickly. I actually gained 18 pounds in a matter of months. And I know other women have had similar experiences like this, whether it's because of adding hormones or just natural weight gain, and it happens seemingly overnight. So I tried to stop it with everything that I knew. I started walking over 10,000 steps a day. I wore a weighted vest. Nothing changed. I was heavy lifting 4 times a week. My belly would not budge. I tracked my food meticulously. I had more protein. I adjusted everything. Nothing moved. And this is when I finally understood. It didn't matter what I ate. It didn't matter how little I ate because it wasn't fat. After a lot of research from my background in molecular and cell biology from UC Berkeley, I realized that this wasn't fat at this time of life. It was inflammation. And it was inflammation from hormones and toxins and food that my body couldn't clear. My gut health was impaired. I had to work on that. My liver wasn't processing those excess hormones. It wasn't detoxing them. They were recycling in my body. And all of that recycled hormonal activity, also toxins in food that couldn't leave my body because my liver wasn't operating well and my gut wasn't working well, that was driving inflammation, which settled in my belly. That summer, I was at my maximum weight. I went on a beach vacation and I was walking every moment I could, going to the gym every morning, doing everything. And I did not feel comfortable in my bathing suit. I didn't feel comfortable in my sleeveless shirts, and I didn't feel comfortable in shorts. I didn't feel like myself. That was my breaking point. I was not going to accept this. I couldn't because I felt miserable every day. So instead of giving up, I reminded myself who I am and how I became good at transforming bodies. I became good at it, different transformation. So I had faith in myself that I could figure this out again. So I threw myself into research. Months of deep investigation, lots of scientific research, menopause studies, gut health literature, hormonal biology, and one evening I had my aha moment. My midlife belly was not fat, it was inflammation. That was the sentence that changed everything. Inflammation and fat, they both look similar from the outside. They can both make your belly expand, but they're completely different things with completely different causes and different solutions. Fat accumulates slowly over time. It does not fluctuate dramatically within a single day. Inflammation can turn on in hours. It can make your belly balloon from morning to evening. You can feel like you wake up with a belly that's okay, but by the evening you look 4 months pregnant. It responds to specific foods, specific triggers, specific biological signals, not to calories and exercise. And once I understood that, I understood why everything I'd been doing was not working. I had been treating the wrong problem. Now, let me explain why this happens. Because what I experienced is the same thing happening in your body likely, especially if you're postmenopausal or going through menopause or perimenopause. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. One of its most important functions is as an anti-inflammatory agent. Estrogen actively suppresses inflammatory responses throughout your body, in your belly, in your joints, in your gut, and in your skin. Estrogen declines in menopause. That anti-inflammatory protection goes with it, and inflammation moves in to fill the space. Your gut lining becomes more permeable. Toxins that should stay inside your digestive tract start leaking into your bloodstream. Your immune system fires up an inflammatory response. That response settles in your belly. At the same time, your gut microbiome is changing. Helpful bacteria are declining. Harmful bacteria that produce inflammatory signals are taking their place. All of this is the mechanism behind that belly that looks pregnant by evening. It's an inflammatory response, and no amount of walking or calorie restriction addresses any of these root causes. That is why nothing was working for me, and it's why nothing has been working for you. Once I understood what was happening, I stopped trying to restrict and exercise my way out and started feeding my way out. The solution was to add the specific foods that support the liver in clearing hormones, that support the gut in reducing inflammation, and that give the body what it needs to actually detox and release that inflammation. So it's the same additive philosophy that had gotten me to lose 40 pounds. But what changed in menopause was which things my body specifically needed more of. So I added anti-inflammatory spices to every single meal: turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, cumin. Not supplements, real food. I added resistant starches that feed beneficial gut bacteria, sweet potatoes that are cooked and then cooled, legumes like beans, lentils, and then cooked and cooled rice, because the act of cooling it creates that beneficial resistant starch. I added omega-3 fats. This is so important because having more omega-3s reduces gut and hormonal inflammation. And I got those from olive oil, avocado, and flaxseed oil. I also got it from salmon. I added fermented foods to rebuild my gut microbiome, and I supported my liver directly. That's the organ that's responsible for detoxing and for clearing excess hormones, toxins, and food from your body. When your liver is nourished with the right high fiber, anti-inflammatory foods, it can actually do its job. And when it clears those hormones, the inflammation that was showing up as belly expansion, belly fat, belly bloating, it all starts to resolve. By the following January, my stomach had flattened. By February, what I call my fabulous February, my abs were visible again. I reached a lower body fat percentage than where I had originally started, and I was older now. 14 years of success, then menopause, hormonal changes, a year of effort that went nowhere. And then I figured out the solution. The solution was never less. It was always more of the right things. Here's what you can do starting today, not after overhauling your kitchen, not after finishing another program, today. Number 1, add cinnamon in your morning coffee or tea. Just add a sprinkle or a pinch, really an eighth of a teaspoon if you want to measure it out. Cinnamon directly lowers blood sugar, reduces inflammatory signaling, and reduces belly fat specifically. Number 2, add turmeric to one meal today. Scrambled eggs, soup, a smoothie. Turmeric contains curcumin, which is one of the most well-researched anti-inflammatory compounds that exists. 3, start your morning with infused water. Lemon slices, cucumber, and a few sprigs of mint. The lemon detoxes your body. The cucumber helps hydrate you and reduces bloating. And that mint reduces your desire for additional sugar. Steep it overnight in a pitcher and drink a full glass before you have any coffee or tea. This calms the inflammatory response before you've even eaten. You are adding to your day, not subtracting from it. This is the entire philosophy behind what I teach. Now, your homework for today, cinnamon in your coffee or tea tomorrow morning, and that is your starting point. And if you want to go deeper, I have a free sweet spice cheat sheet, where I teach you how to use cinnamon and anti-inflammatory spices throughout your day, including a belly fat fire tea recipe that fires away belly fat. The link is in the description. And if my story sounded familiar today, and if you've been where I was, doing everything right and still watching your belly expand, you can also register for my 5-day midlife belly relief, my 5-day bloat bust, which I share live sessions about exactly what to do for your breakfast, for your lunches, if intermittent fasting is helpful, and how to do it the right way if you want to do it, and how to completely reduce all of that bloat just like I did. So you don't have to spend the year of research that I did. You'll just get the answers right away. And that link is in the description as well. Now, I want you to know your body has not betrayed you. It has changed, and what it needs has changed, and that is completely fixable. Please subscribe if you want more of this. I post every week for women in their 60s and 70s who are done being told their body is the problem and aging is the reason. It is not the problem. The approach is. I'm Nagina Abdullah, and I'll see you next time.